If your Amazon listing isn't on page one for your most important keywords, you're probably wasting thousands of dollars every single month on Amazon PPC. Now let me show you our exact framework we use to take a brand from page 5 to page 1 for over 112 keywords and scale sales by nearly 400K. So in this video, I'm going to go over the common mistakes and misconceptions sellers on Amazon have about ranking higher on page 1 for the most important keywords and what the actual blueprint to scale is. So first thing we need to understand is what is Amazon's A9 algorithm. Pretty much, Amazon is a sales velocity platform, which means they're measuring your performance against every competitor on page 1 in real time. And sales, although are the main input, they're one input in a very complex system. And the real question isn't how do I get more sales, it's what does it take to win this keyword? Amazon only wants to reward you if you bring it more sales. For example, if your listing converts at a really high rate and has a high click-through rate, obviously, why would they not want to show it to more customers, right? Especially if you're running good enough ads, because that means that they're going to get more sales also, right? So the entire thing is how can we increase our sales velocity on our most important keywords so Amazon recognizes, hey, these guys are converting really, really well for this term. Let's boost their ranking up. So like I just said, it doesn't just count your sales. It benchmarks your listing against every competitor holding page 1 positions. Okay, what do I talk about? Click-through rate. Are shoppers choosing your listing over competitors in search results? So if you have a naturally higher click-through rate than your competitors, you're gonna have a higher chance to convert that sale. Conversion rate. Once they land on your page, are they actually buying? If you have a better conversion rate or a better conversion rate in terms of the market average. Okay, because for example, we're always gonna have outliers. Maybe your number one seller with number one BSR, rank. They're always gonna outperform everybody else. So we want to look at the market average. Is our click-through rate above the market average? Is our conversion rate above the market average? That's how Amazon algorithm decides, hey, let's increase our visibility on this. And obviously the most important thing is click-through rate and conversion rate result in having sales velocity, right? So are you sustaining consistent volume over time, not just a one-day spike? That's the number one thing. I believe the thing they say is 8-day period. You need sales within 8 days for Amazon to really track and identify whether we should increase your overall position on the page for this keyword. So it's very, very important to look into all those things. So why a lot of sellers just waste money, thousands of dollars on Amazon PPC is because it doesn't just reward spend, it rewards performance. You can spend the most money on ads, but if your conversion rate is very poor or your click-through rate is very poor, it's going to give more incentive to other listings that convert at a much higher level because they don't want to just run traffic to your listing that gets people to click on it, but they don't buy, right? They want someone to buy the product. So if you are not getting customers to buy the product, it will not matter. Real quick, if you need help scaling on Amazon, hit the link in the bio to get your free Amazon audit where we will break down your performance and create a plan for you to scale. So hit the link in bio for that. So now let's go over how we can improve all 3 of these things at once. So the first thing is your click-through rate. We need to get them to click onto our listing. So this includes your main image. Your main image, the main image hack is we want to showcase as much value through our main image to get them to click onto our listing. Our title also helps with that. You want to make sure your main keywords and benefit are front loaded. So they're all the first like 20, 50 characters. So because that's the only thing people can read on mobile. You can't read the rest of it. That's just for the SEO algorithm. So make sure it's front loaded. Your price, obviously make sure it's very competitive, right? Either you have a lot of coupons, you have a strike through price, you're running a one-time discount, anything to get them to click onto your listing. These all drive click-through rate. And obviously having reviews, right? If you don't have reviews, if you have a poor, rating, you're 3.5 star, no one's gonna click. So we want to maximize all of that. Next thing is conversion rate. So once they go onto our listing, we make sure they convert at a high level. How do we do that? We have really good infographics showcasing the value of our product. We have really good video ads. Nowadays on Amazon, video ads is so important. And Amazon makes it so easy to just create video ads, even if you give a lot of images. They have the Amazon sponsored product, AI video generation. You can literally go there, make video ads that are really good. You can even use AI tools like Google Gemini, stuff like that to make really good video ads. So you have no excuse to not do it nowadays on Amazon. And obviously it puts content and everything else. Now once you get the sales velocity. Now we have to maintain those sales over a unit time to make sure Amazon tracks us over time. For example, if we're only getting 10 sales a week on a keyword, but everyone on the first page, for example, is doing 20 sales, there's no way we're gonna hit that first page, right? We have to first analyze how can we get from 10 to 20, which I'll go over in this video, because that's the benchmark we're trying to aim for. So you've probably seen this before. Smaller listings outrank the giants on Amazon. You'll see a top listing, organic spot that has like way less reviews than other competitors. Why is that? It's because they're converting at such a high level and sending Amazon signals that warrant them to get higher and higher traction. Okay, so they have better conversion signals. They have focused early performance. Maybe they just launched the product and they're crushing it. They have the number one bestseller badge, new release badge, anything, right? So it showcases to Amazon that this product is hot and it's in demand. So naturally, it's going to increase it over time. Okay, relevance over history. It has enough data over enough time frame to showcase to Amazon this product is going to perform well in the long run. This is why you see so many listings that have thousands and thousands of reviews, and you'll see they're at the bottom of the page or second, third page. And it's because they don't care about your legacy. It only cares about your current performance signals. A new listing that performs better will have higher relevancy and higher search volume and keyword ranking than those that just simply don't have it. So here's a quick check I want you to do for your main keyword right now. Go to Helium 10, Jungle Scout, Data Dive, whatever. Look at every listing above the fold. So above the fold typically is above the first page of Amazon, right? And ask yourself, is my product better? Can I compete with these guys? Do I have enough reviews? Is my pricing competitive enough? Because that determines whether we can even achieve that if we run a lot more PPC ads to it. Would you click on your listing over theirs? Why is it? Is your main image more appealing? Is your pricing more appealing? Are you offering a bundle, a coupon, anything like that? When you have your answer and it's yes, you can compete, then we can move forward with trying to rank with specific campaigns, which we'll build out. If no, then either decide whether you can actually fix it, or are there other keywords you can compete well for that won't burn your budget pretty much, you know? So those are things you really want to understand, whether or not you can actually increase your ranking for this keyword. Now let's say we can compete and we know we should start ranking higher on the first page. So first we need to analyze every single number in order to achieve that goal. First thing we analyze, current sales. How many units are you selling weekly through this keyword? This is very important. We need to understand how much we are actually doing over a certain time period, right? That's the first thing. Next thing is ad spend. How much are we currently investing in dollars for this every week? Because that determines how much we need to increase the budget by in order to hit X goal, correct? Next thing is the click-through rate versus market average rate. So in order to do this, go to Amazon, search Query Performance Report. I'll put a video summary here. You can put in your ASIN, and when you put in your ASIN, it'll show you all your most important keywords. And when it shows you your keywords, look for the specific keyword and compare your market average compared to your competitor. I have a really in-depth video on my channel. I'll put a summary here of how you can compare your averages, but you want to understand that because if it's very low compared to the market average, first we need to see if we can improve it, because we don't want to just increase ad spend and our click-through rate is just super poor. Doesn't make sense. So we want to look into that. If it's much better, then we know we can double ad spend confidently. Next thing is conversion rate. Same thing. Go into the report, you'll see your conversion rate against the market average. If it's poor, first see, okay, how can I improve this before doubling ad spend? If it's much better already, then you know we can double ad spend and move forward confidently. Last thing is your ACOS. So just benchmark what is your ACOS for this keyword across your history, right? You can look at a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, but a consistent enough with enough ad spend, because we want to benchmark this. So how we do this for most of our clients is we look at a main keyword and we look at 3 to 5 of our main competitors, right, who are doing more revenue than us. And we want to see exactly where are they ranked on this keyword and where are we ranked. So then we have an idea whether we can even increase our sales velocity and rank high as them, okay? That's very, very important, because if we see only one competitor is ranked high for a keyword, that's not enough data for us to be confident that we should increase our ad budget on this. So for example, if we see we're ranked on the bottom of page 1 for this keyword, but all of our main competitors are ranked really high, we know that there is a chance that we can improve this. So the next thing is just how we can figure out how to get there. Okay, let's say we're selling this 2-pack kitchen dish brushes with bamboo handle. This is a kitchen brush, pretty simple. Now let's see, for example, we're trying to increase sales for a specific keyword on this product. So what I do is I go to Helium 10 Cerebro, literally put your ACE in here. And what we do here is set your organic rank 1 to 100, and then actually put search volume here that people can actually search for. I put it at 1,000 just to see, okay? Now, when we go here, go to search volume, highest to lowest. Now, what we want to do is look at the most important keywords here. For example, dish brush, dish scrubber, all sort of keywords. And these are relevant to us because as you see here, I only chose 1 to 100. So we are ranked already for this keyword on the second or first page. We're just trying to see whether we can increase from that area to the next one. So for example, dish brush over here, they're ranked number 53 for this keyword. Now, this is the second page of Amazon. How can we get to the first page? Typically, you're going to have to double this to 25, 30 if we consider all the sponsored results. 25, 20 is a good result. How can we get there? And in order to do this, first thing we need to understand is go all the way down here to CPR. So as you see here, they're already running ads to this listing, which is awesome. But now we look at CPR. What does this mean? So this is the estimated number of units that need to be sold over 8 days, resulting from a search for this keyword in order for the product to rank on the top half of page 1 for this keyword. So pretty much for this keyword, it's saying over 8 days, when people search for this keyword, dish brush, you need on average 95 sales in order to rank on the top half of page 1, which is typically like the top 20, 25 listing. Okay, so 95 is for this keyword. Now, if I'm trying to see how can I increase my keyword ranking from right now it's at 53 to 25, 20, First, I need to look into how many sales am I getting on average over 8 days for this keyword. So go into your Amazon account, go into your keyword campaigns or whatever campaigns you're running, type in the keyword over 8-day period, see how many sales you brought in for this keyword. So for example, let's say you had 50 sales over this keyword 8-day period. Well, the next thing is, how can I get to 95? I mean, pretty simple. If I spend, let's say for our conversion rate and click-through rate stay the same, so it's good enough. Do our analysis. If you double your budget, you'll expect to see at least a 40-50% increase in sales. Now, you must consider, if you increase your budget too much, what happens most of the time is performance gets weaker. Your ACOS shoots up, your click-through rate drops, conversion rate drops. So you need to make incremental increases. First, you need to increase by 10%. Okay, you increase your budget by 10%. They would go from 50 to 60 sales. Okay, and make sure the click-through rate, conversion rate hold. Next thing, 10% more, 10% more, 10% more. You want to do this slowly until you build up to the point where you're close to this average. But you want to make sure you don't want to just double. It's very easy to look at this number and be like, hey, okay, I'm at 50 sales. I need 95 sales. Let me just double my PPC budget and I'll start ranking. That's not how it works. You need to understand it's incremental budgets. Amazon puts the budget into different areas, targets different people, and you don't know how it's going to react. So you want to do incremental increases. And this is the only way you're going to scale efficiently. So how we like to do this is one keyword per campaign. So for example, this keyword I went over with you, if we show we're performing well for it, we need to like double our sales. We need one keyword per campaign with its own dedicated budget, right? Focus on your top ASIN. Whether that listing has a ton of variations, only target it for your top variation that performs well. Next thing is, if it performs well, if we have a good click-through rate, good conversion rate, we can put a little bit of a top of search adjustment, maybe 10%, 15% to see how it works. Because if it works well, then we can slowly build it up more. Like I said, 5 to 10% increases in budget over time. 10% is ideal. Then slowly, as you see performance goes, then you decide whether to increase budget, lower top of search, increase top of search, and all sort of stuff like that. But this is how you're really going to rank on a keyword. But you only want to do this if you first identify that you can convert well for this keyword at a high level, and the data backs all of the stuff I'm showing you right now. So how we do this for our clients is we set out specific PPC campaigns with different goals. One mistake a lot of people make is they have one universal ACOS across their account. Like, hey, my campaigns can't go past a 40% ACOS. That's gonna be your downfall, okay? The number one thing. Because every campaign has its own purpose. Whether you rank on a keyword, you're trying to defend your brand name, you're trying to target a competitor listing, maybe you're liquidating some products that aren't selling well. Everything has its own level. So if we're trying to rank on a keyword, we know we're going to be a little more aggressive. But that's okay as long as we're getting in the sales, as long as performance is holding. Because for example, if you have a keyword that's campaign has like an ACOS around 70%, but now you're ranked super high for the keyword in the top 20 and has a lot of search volume, you're going to get way more organic sales. So your TACOS is going to go down, and the PPC campaign ACOS does not matter. You're going to have way more organic sales and you're going to be much higher. So make sure with every campaign you set up has a specific goal and a specific threshold for your ACOS level, what you're okay with. So how this works is maybe go aggressive on spend, okay? Your keyword rankings improve over time because you're getting more sales velocity. That's totally fine, which means your organic sales are going to go up because you're going higher and higher on the first page, and your TACOS will drop. So now you might have a little more higher ACOS, you're spending more on your keyword, but your TACOS drop much more, which obviously should bring in way more sales. Now let's say we achieved our goal of ranking high on page 1 for this keyword, which is very important. But now the next thing is staying there. That's the real thing. How can we stay there forever and maintain over time? Because obviously then all your competitors are trying to steal that position from you. Very obvious. So what do? They increase their ad budget. Your own click-through rate conversion rate might dip. If you increase your ad budget, you don't know how to perform over time. Your sales velocity might drop from stockouts or pricing changes. You might have undercuts, everything like that. So it's very, very important understanding how can I maintain this. So how to do this: every 8 days, every week, look into how many sales you generated on that keyword and what the market average still is for that keyword. Because understand, there's different times with different search volume. Q4, the search volume of the keyword might jump by 40 to 50%. So your sales velocity has to maintain that in order to maintain those top positions, because if it doesn't, it's not going to matter. So then you're going to have to increase your PPC budget, right? Next, so it's very important to, adjust spend proactively. You always want to be ahead of the curve. Don't be reactive, because once you're reactive, it's very hard to regain that position. You always want to be ahead of time, especially if you have these top positions, because everyone else is going to be gunning for you. So to bring it all together, the complete framework was this. First thing is match your competitors. Understand what page 1 requires in terms of for a keyword in sales velocity, click-through rate, conversion rate before you invest $1 in ranking. Then we need to see whether we can even compete on that keyword by understanding what our click-through rate is, what our conversion rate is, and how many sales we're actually generating for this keyword. If we see we're generating enough sales for this keyword at a good enough level, and we understand we need to increase our budget by X amount, the next thing is, how can we do this? And that's by creating specific campaigns or doubling down on your campaigns already to maintain those positions. And like I said, increase the budget by 10-15% each time. Don't do anything crazy to see how performance holds. Then when you get those positions, the number one thing is, how can we maintain it over time? And that's by weekly optimizations, budget adjustments over time, maintaining your competitors and understanding what they're doing to gun for your positions, and understanding market trends, search volume, and different quarters. Now, if that seems like a lot, don't worry. We work with brands that do a lot of revenue on Amazon and spend a lot of money. So if you need help installing the system into your brand to rank higher on page 1, hit the link down below where you can get your free Amazon audit being by me and my team, where we will break down literally everything for you and create a plan to rank higher for you. I'll also link a few videos of mine of here on Amazon PPC that you can install right away to your brand and help scale your sales. So hit the link down below to get your free Amazon audit.